Hi there. In this video, we'll be covering book writing motivation. We all need motivation sometimes, a spark, inspiration. Believe me, I've wanted to throw in the towel with my book so many times. It's impossible, isn't it? But I kept going, and you can too. I want this video to spark you and give you the boost that you need. By the end of this video, I hope that you can move past some of the self-doubts, maybe the imposter syndrome that you're facing. Let's explore how a book truly can change your life, and some tips to keep going even when you think you want to throw in the towel. And stay tuned until the end of the video for an opportunity I really think you're going to enjoy. Let's dive in. Go into any bookstore. Go on Amazon. Go on Barnes & Noble's website. Go on eBay. Go anywhere. Look at books. Look at lots and lots of books. You know the thing that you'll notice? Most of them aren't that good. There's a lot of bad books out there. There's so many books out there in the world, and I think this is a call to action. There's so many other bad books out there. Why not your book? I think that's the challenge we all face. Why is my story worth telling? Why does my message matter? Why am I the person to write this book? I say, why not you? Why even hold back? Life is short, and there's so many bad books out there. Why can't you write a book and take your own chance and throw your hat into the ring and make the most of this? It's so easy for us to doubt ourselves, to hold back, to think that we don't deserve more, or to wonder why other people are getting ahead and we aren't. It feels like we're just running in sand or running in water, running in something. We're not running on flat ground, we're running in muck and mud and junk, and stuff's getting in the way. I ultimately see books as this lift, this boost, this ability for us to ride above that, this opportunity for us to rise above all those things, and to really find greatness within ourselves and unlock greatness in our path. The book itself isn't the thing, it's the book unlocking the next door for us. The book helping us become thought leaders, speakers, to lend our message to the world and to share it proudly. I think about my friend Emma. She's faced some obstacles and challenges in her life, and she and I have been working on a book together, and I'm super proud of her. I've just seen so much personal growth from her while working on this book. I'm not even worried about what the book's going to do for her because I've already seen the change in her. Over the course of a year, we worked together, and I'm super proud of everything she's done. The struggles she's faced, the things she's overcome. And I just think about how her life is different today because of this book. Helping her understand her story, I think, was a big part in her taking the step in her personal growth and her personal journey. I just think about stories like that. Or my friend Rich, another person I've worked on a book with. Rich found out in the middle of his life that his father wasn't his father, that there was somebody else who was his actual biological father, and it sent him in a tailspin to find out who he is, to find out truly who he is inside. I think about the growth and the progress, in helping him through this book to unlock his inner greatness, to really find closure and peace, and to move forward in clarity. He finally knows who he is after 50 plus years on earth. Those are awesome stories. I'm so proud of those stories. They send chills up my spine. I'm so proud of them. And I just see that opportunity. For both of them, there was always challenges of, can I finish this book? Can I do it? Is this possible? I mean, Rich was pretty much giving up on the ground. Like, I don't know. I don't think I can finish this. It was too difficult for him emotionally. It was too much of a challenge. This guy was a best-selling writer on other books, and yet this project, because it was so personal and so difficult and challenging, he wanted to give up, and he didn't, and I'm so proud of him for not giving up. That's what it's really about. Books are about unlocking the greatness within ourselves because we can help other people unlock greatness and closure and healing for them too. It's not just about personal journeys, it's about lessons, it's about life, it's about sharing our biggest insights. What insights do you have about your career? What insights do you have about the life you've lived. Your lessons matter, your lessons resonate. Why not you to tell this story? Why not you to own this message? Why not you to carry this thing forward? I think back to when I was working on this book about this baseball player named Ken Caminiti. He was the 1996 National League MVP with the Padres. He struggled with addiction. He discussed steroid use in baseball. He was one of the big pioneers that really opened up about PEDs. And I didn't know him. I was just interested in this story as a sports fan, as a journalist. I just felt like, I was connecting to this story and I just wanted to write about him. And I did. And there's people who, along the way are like, well, who is this guy? I'm just some guy who is a fan and who was interested in his story. And I spent 8 years writing a book about him. And it was, really special to bring his story forward. And I just think about this idea of if I had told myself I wasn't good enough, if I've told myself that, somehow I wasn't the right person to write that book, it never would have happened, or somebody else would have written something that was derivative. I don't know. I made friends from that book. And that wasn't the focus. I wasn't writing the book to make friends, but I unlocked, new opportunities in my life from it. It wasn't about financial opportunities. I didn't care about that. I still don't. It was about connecting to this story, connecting to this message, connecting to this deeper thing. And I just feel like my life is so much richer because of that story. And because of telling that story and writing that book, there was other opportunities that emerged later, that now people will start thinking of me as the baseball writer guy, and people reach out and they want to connect and talk. And I just think it's amazing. So many things can unlock, doors can unlock for you. Again, not just financial, but other great opportunities. And those things won't happen unless you write the thing, unless you write the book, unless you put yourself out there, unless you challenge it and risk it and, and take the chance, Why not you? I'm sure that you're probably sitting there thinking, yeah, that's nice, but, yeah, that's nice, but my book is too challenging. It's too difficult. I get it. I understand. I've worked on some of the most challenging book projects. I can't even describe how difficult they have been. Just pulling teeth, wanting to give up at every turn. As a ghostwriter, I work with clients who are in that stage of giving up. Some of them have been working on their book for a decade or longer. My friend Jason, his dad was working on a book. He passed away, and now Jason's working on bringing the book forward. This is cross-generational divides. This book has been in progress for 25 years. That's a long time, more than 25 years. So that's to say that I understand the challenges, and I've seen them with my own eyes. I understand how difficult it is sometimes, and why you want to give up, because it's too hard. It's so hard sometimes to write the book that you want to write. And that's why it's so important to reach out to professionals, to talk to professionals, to get insights, to learn. You want to learn as much as you can about the book writing process because you want to be empowered. You want to be encouraged to keep going. You want to be able to tell the story in the most powerful way, to find the path forward. It can be so discouraging along the way, especially if you pursue a traditional publishing deal, to get rejection left and right. No. Actually, worse for me than the rejection is just no response. I hate that. I hate when agents and publishers don't respond to you. I don't even know what it means. Does it mean they're interested, they're not interested? Maybe 8 months from now they'll be interested. Maybe they aren't interested now, but they could be later down the road. Maybe the agency they work with isn't interested in books of your kind. Maybe the market has shifted, maybe all these other things. It's just ridiculous. The whole thing's ridiculous. A courtesy response of no would be nice. I don't know, maybe that's asking too much. Just a simple no thanks, just let me know. I want to know. So it can be so difficult to face those rejections and to feel like your book's not good enough for some reason. A lot of times it's baloney, and a lot of times it's focused on platform. Traditional publishing today is very focused on platform and the size of your audience. And if you don't have the ability to sell books yourself, publishers are less liable to take a chance on you, because they want to have authors that can sell copies of their book, and they want to do the least amount possible to make money on your book. They are a profit-driven company, just like a lot of others are. The reality is most publishers only make money on a couple of titles, and they make a lot of money on those titles, and then kind of break even or lose money on everything else. But if you don't have the capability of selling books, you're less liable to get awesome book deals. So platform's the most important thing in traditional publishing. I want you to keep that in mind because agents and publishers probably aren't rejecting your topic. They might not be rejecting your topic at all. They might be rejecting the fact that you don't have the social media platform that they want to have for an author to be able to promote your book. It's just a reality. So I think it's important to be realistic about that. At the same time, there's so many other paths to publication, and I don't want you to lose hope on the story and the message. There's all these stories about like 50 Shades of Grey and other books that have been rejected a billion times by other people. They got self-published and became huge bestsellers and huge money drivers and huge everything. I think of my friend Jonathan Stanley in his book Purposeful Performance about finding meaning in the workplace. Jonathan had lost his job and was spiraling and channeled that into this book, and he was really proud of it. And I worked with him for a couple months to get the book in stronger shape. You know, he wrote the draft, we collaborated, and then he went on and published the book. And he kept pushing and kept believing and kept striving. He would post all the time on social media, he still does. And he kept believing in his book. And in early 2025, he went to a book signing near his house in Pennsylvania. He selected the date. You know, he got the right date, and he actually was thinking about changing the date, but he was like, whatever, I'll deal with it. He goes to the book signing. He signs a couple copies. He meets a girl named Ella, signs a book for her. Ella's mom takes video of Jonathan at this table, you know, and it went viral. This thing went viral on TikTok, millions and millions and millions and millions of views. Jonathan was featured on the Today Show, on NBC News, on Washington Post, Wall Street Journal. It was everywhere. His story was everywhere, and he sold 10,000 copies of his book in a week. The week before, he sold 4 copies of his book. That's the thing about it. You don't know what's going to happen. You do not know what's going to happen, but unless you put yourself out there, unless you put your book out there, unless you put your message out there, you never know the outcome. Jonathan kept going and kept striving. If he gave up, if he stopped trying, if he didn't go to the book signing, none of this would have happened. It's like playing the lottery. Someone's going to win sometime, but you need to play. You need to put your book out there to get the outcomes. Otherwise, you're not going to get the outcomes. Ultimately, the right book with the right message that you're telling, your unique story, has the power to transform not just your life, but your reader's life. It has the power of transformation. What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to achieve? How does your book fit within your life goals? It's so important to tap into those things as you think about your book, as you think about your message, and as you think about what you're putting out into the world. You know, maybe you want to give up. Maybe you've been working on it for a long time. You've been writing. You've been struggling. It's too hard. The writing is just too much. I want you to just think about 10 minutes. 10 minutes of your day. I don't want you to think about 2 hours or 3 hours or spending your whole weekend working on the book. 10 minutes. Take 10 minutes, sit there, and write. And that's it. Don't make it great. Just write everything that comes to mind. Blah, 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 blah. Type away. 10 minutes. Do a writing sprint for 10 minutes. Make some progress. Stop it. Walk away. Come back to it later. Edit. Clean it up. See if it works. See if you can make progress from it. You know, another option is to think about your best ways of getting the words out of your head and onto the page. You know, a lot of times people think about typing away or writing in a notebook. You know, what about voice-to-text transcription? What about speaking out your stories? There's so many different ways to accomplish your goal of getting this book written. And I don't want you to get discouraged or overwhelmed by the fact that this one way doesn't work for you. Find a different way. Find a different path. There's so many different options out there. There's so many different paths to choose from. I want you to pick the path that works for you. If you want to learn more about book writing motivation, I would love to talk to you. I'd love for you to head to my website. It's goodghostwriter.com. You can click the link below. Schedule a one-on-one strategy call with me. We can talk one-on-one. I can share more motivation, more tips, more insights. There's so much I want to share with you, and there's so many ideas. You know, I want to learn more about your book and see what your path forward looks like. You know, I'd love to help you however I can, and I'd love to give insight into what path forward might be the best one for you. If you're interested in talking further and just exploring what your book could be and you know, need some motivation, need some guidance, need some support, check out my website, book a one-on-one call with me, and let's talk. Remember, a good book can change your life. I'm Dan Good. Thanks for watching.